Pakistan-Afghanistan clashes, PAF strikes Kabul, Kandahar, Nangarhar and Paktia inside Afghanistan. 133 Afghan Taliban TTP fighters and 55 Pakistan soldiers killed in last night's clashes. PAF destroys Afghan ammunition depots, military installations. Pakistan Army claims 133 Afghan Taliban and TTP fighters killed. Pakistan claims 2 corps HQs, 3 brigade HQs, 1 logistics base, 3 battalion HQs, 2 sectors, 80 Afghan artillery tanks destroyed. Afghan Taliban Defense Ministry claims 55 Pakistan security personnel killed as well. 17 made hostages by Taliban fighters. Right, Akansha, back to you. Would you like to take another question on this?
Right. I just want to quickly go back to Group Captain Vinod. Group Captain Vinod, weigh in on the information that is coming in. This doesn't seem like tensions just across the Durand Line. It is clearly escalating out of control. As I said, that you're looking at airstrikes being carried out by Pakistan on Kabul, then that only goes on to say that this could very well be taking up dimensions of a full-blown war, as Khwaja Asif, the Pak Defense Minister, has already claimed on X.
True. See, a couple of things we need to understand. The Afghan Taliban and TTP, they share same ideological roots. So today, if they are against each other, tomorrow they could be, fighting against a common enemy together. So that needs to be understood clearly. Many TTP fighters operated from Afghan territory during the United States occupation of Afghanistan, and TTP has been probably one of the main reasons for US running away from Afghanistan. So Pakistan alleges that TTP leaders are currently based in Afghanistan and launching a cross-border attack. And the reason why the cross-border attack is happening is because everyone is vying, ma'am, for the same space of both these, dollar and drugs. They both are vying for the same space. So Afghan Taliban has officially denied any support to TTP. But they have not dismantled TTP completely, and neither TTP nor TTP infrastructure, which is the core contention or core frustration of Pakistan. TTP is easily operating, coming into Pakistan, attacking Pakistani posts, going back to Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is saying TTP is being fully supported by the entire Afghan Taliban government, which I don't know how far it is true, because if anyone, I've flown in many of these regions. Yeah.
Look, Captain Vinod, this is what the Afghan Taliban government has all been, maintaining throughout, that by carrying out strikes on Kabul, you are holding us directly responsible. They have been consistently distancing themselves from, say, TTP. They're saying that if you are going to conduct, say, airstrikes on Kabul, means that you are holding the government responsible for this. And they're saying that why should we take responsibility for TTP, especially when it is the Pak Taliban which is carrying out, say, attacks on the Pakistani soil, and they're saying that they are working on operating on the other side of the Durand Line, and we are not responsible for them. So do you think that Pakistan is also somewhere misplaced in the way they are operating over here? Do you think they can tackle this situation militarily alone?
Impossible. I'll tell you, people who are saying this, Pakistanis saying this are, in Hindi, if I put it, they are selling churan. I'll tell you why. If you remember Tora Bora and all those caves where, supposedly the 9/11 attackers went and took refuge, and Americans couldn't find them at all because this region is like that. The terrain is extremely hostile to any kind of ground actions. It has consumed, soldiers over British India, Russia and America. Nobody could do anything because that is the kind of rugged terrain this is. If Islamabad's perspective is, quote unquote, if I may say, long story short, if I have to say, if Kabul cannot control TTP, Pakistan will control it unilaterally. Whereas if you look at Kabul's perspective, it says Pakistan's airstrike, and rightly so, Pakistan's airstrike violates Afghanistan's sovereignty, and which is true. You cannot cross the line which has been put on the ground, albeit by the English in 1893, which is the Durand Line. You cannot cross it. So this is the strategic deadlock. How are we going? How are these two countries, and probably others will also have to weigh in on this for the sake of humanity? How is this deadlock going to be unlocked? I really don't know. 130 years it has taken for them to unlock this deadlock. I don't know whether that end is in sight. But what is for us to understand is Pakistan is accusing three things. One is providing safe haven. Second,
Yes.
allowing regrouping. And third
Yes.
is failing to enforce counter-terror commitment, which they have put it on record. They both have signed on counter-terror commitment, which Pakistan is saying that Afghanistan is not doing it, which is, again, I'm saying is selling children, because in this area, if you and I, if we go today in this area and want to just vanish from the world, we can. Nobody can find us. That is the kind of terrain it is. So it is impossible if someone says you need to control your dogs because these dogs go vanish in that area, you cannot find it. As simple as that. You cannot cross the
Do you
line.
think
It has to be on the
Pakistan's own
ground.
strategy has now backfired for them? Because remember, for the longest time, they thought to the world they could show they are fighting terrorism, but at the same time giving safe haven to those very terrorists who were fighting their neighbors, primarily India. And that, I mean, Pakistan's clearly getting a taste of their own poison that they sowed.
Absolutely. In fact, I have no hesitation in saying this, and normally I talk with facts. I have no hesitation in saying this, ma'am. Pakistan has been labeled a terror factory. 9/11, Mohammed Atta, and the entire gang were trained in this region. It has any kind of attack, a major attack against US, which has happened from the fighters trained in Pakistan soil. So it is the terror factory of the world. And such people, saying that they are getting attacked by terrorists is absolutely hilarious, to say the least. But be that as it may, what we need to, bringing focus on this particular security dilemma, Pakistan escalating pressure against Kabul, and Kabul's retaliation to ascertain its sovereignty, it only benefits TTP. That both the sides need to understand. It only benefits TTP. It is not going to reduce any kind of attack on Pakistan. It is only going to invigorate TTP, and much more attack is going to follow. Forget Islamabad. They may even reach Karachi. That is the kind of security and terror, so-called quote-unquote terror angle, terror problem Qaza Asif is facing. Even calling that Afghanistan is the playing second fiddle to India is the most hilarious, stupid joke I have heard today. I mean, can't be more stupid than that.
Right,
of
General
course.
Vinod, I have a question for you actually. In your assessment, what do you think is the single development that could most decisively change the future course of the conflict? Major terror attack, economic collapse in Afghanistan, or direct international mediation, according to you?
Superb question. In fact, I'll tell you something about Afghanistan. The people of Afghanistan, I mean, I've met few of them. Their requirement in life is only food and weapon. They have, and they have not much. They are not exposed to what you and I are exposed to in day-to-day life. Their requirements are very, very minimal, and they can survive with a stack of kubus for months, and they are happy doing that. So, what can you give to somebody who have no requirement in life? Point number one. Point number two. What we need to understand is they are generational fighters. Almost 500, 700, since 700 years, generations after generations, they know only how to fight. Earlier with sword, today with weapons, today with guns and rockets and what have you. So if you cannot take the fight from the dog. He is designed to fight. That is point number one. Point number two, any Afghani, you cannot stab him in the back, and Pakistanis are known to stab people on their back. we went with the bus, and the very next day, or while we went with the bus, they were attacking us, in Kargil. So Pakistanis are known chameleons, and anyone worth a salt will tell you that that is how it is. But Islamabad's perspective of, they are doing some kind of a self-defense, and Kabul's perspective of sovereignty violation. These two, if you ask me honestly, as a defense expert or strategic expert, these two, they both hold water. There is no doubt about it, because TTP has been attacking across the line into the hinterland, right up to Peshawar. So, they both
Right.
hold water.
Group Captain, we are running short of
gun is
time.
not the solution.
I have one last question from you, and we'll have to wrap it up in another 30 seconds. Do you think that Pakistan and Afghanistan have reached a point of no return as at this moment? Given I just remembered there was a deportation of thousands of Afghan refugees, the outreach that is also being made by the Afghans to India. And I'm not going to talk about anything but remind Pakistan of the kind of aid India has been sending even during the earthquake or in times of needs, which Pakistan has been incapable of doing so. So that clearly seems to have riled the Pakistanis also. Is this also playing a role at the moment in sort of the point of no return that we are seeing?
Wonderful question. Let me put it in very simple words so that our viewers can understand. Any fight, suppose you and I fight, you slap me, I slap you, we keep slapping each other till the point where we both sit down and talk. So any physical fight eventually ends up on the drawing board, where you sit down and talk and try to thrash out the issue. So the time has come, both have to sit down and talk. A. B. India has never, ever fueled any sectarian violence or regional violence or given weapons to people. We could. If we wanted to, we could have armed Afghanistan to teeth so that we finish Pakistan from the north, and we do a two-pronged attack from west and or their east and their south. We don't do that. We never have done that, and it is not in India's interest to do that. It is not in India's character to do that. So they need to understand we are peaceniks. Whatever you may say, we eventually are peaceniks. We are people who want peace in the region. We want this region to, grow, which is why we send aid to Pakistan during their crisis, humanitarian crisis, to Afghanistan when their humanitarian crisis. So they need to understand this, come on the drawing board and talk. If they don't talk, this is not going to see the light of day, ma'am.
Right.
130 years.
Right. Captain M.J. Augustine Vinod, thank you so much for joining us on the show and sharing a crucial input with us. And Akansha, thank you so much for sharing all the information and putting things into perspective. And now, viewers, let us take you through all the areas where Afghanistan has attacked Pakistan. First, there's Paktika. Then there's Khost. Then there is Nuristan, there's Kunar, there's Nangarhar, there's Torkham Gate, there's Paktia, Khost and Paktika. These are all the areas where Pakistan posts have been attacked by Afghanistan. Nuristan, Kunar, Torkham Gate, Nangarhar, Paktia, Khost and Paktika.